Welcome back. Going right back in, let's add some definition to the interior of the mouth. Change the selection type back to vertices and choose the polydraw tool. Move the view to get a better view of the inside of the bottom half of the mouth. Start your cut here and follow the lip around towards the back of the mouth. Right-clicking to complete the tool puts us back into Pick and Paint selected mode. So let's move the newly created vertex here to better follow the curve of the lip. We'll also need to move the vertex on the center line. Let's add another edge loop inside the one we just created. Reactivate Polydraw and cut the loop following the edge of the lip like so. Complete and restart the tool to connect up the floating vertex that was placed at the corner to follow the existing lip shape. It's worth taking a moment here to emphasize that it's really important when adding geometry that the edge loops follow the underlying structure of the physiology being described. This can be more important in some cases than maintaining quads. Of course, it's even better when we can maintain quads as well. Next, change the element type to faces. Select the interior faces like so. Now pull them down and pull them forward a slight bit to create space for the teeth and the tongue. Because of the good edge flow, notice how quickly we were able to better define the shape of the lower jaw. Click in an empty space to clear the selection, and adjust the view to better be able to see the inner part of the lip. Now reactivate the Polydraw tool so that we can add another edge loop to begin suggesting the tongue shape. Here we're going to have to put the mirror to use to create the new geometry. Again, don't forget to tidy up the corner. Make sure Pick and Paint selected mode is active, and then select the interior faces. This time let's pull them back up slightly. Change the element type to vertices, and pull in the center vertices of the tongue as well. Now let's work on the roof of the mouth. Reposition the view so that the roof of the mouth is visible. Select the Polydraw tool and continue the outer one of the edge loops we just made around to the front of the mouth. Adjust the front edges to better follow the upper lip. Now start the Polydraw tool again and let's complete the next edge loop as well. Remember to add the connecting corner edge just like we did on the bottom of the mouth. Now switch the element type to faces. Select the interior faces and pull them up to start to create the cavity for the roof of the mouth. The face selection is in our way, so change the element type to vertex and click on a vertex on the model to change our selection. Reactivate the Polydraw tool and finish up the remaining edge loop. Pay attention when making these cuts and use the mirrored half to your advantage to avoid making mistakes. Change the element type to faces. Select the interior faces and again pull them upward. Change the element type back to vertices and pull up the roof of the mouth directly. With that done, let's also take the time to tweak the back of the mouth a bit. For now, we just want to hollow the back of the mouth some, but later we'll extrude it back into the body to create a throat. Also, we want to take a moment and clean up the corner of the mouth to make a more natural transition. Now that we've added a bit of shape to the interior of the mouth, before moving on to the eyes, let's quickly add some detail to the underside of the jaw. Here we're going to use the same technique used inside the mouth to give an organic feel to the underside of the jaw. Select the Polydraw tool again and add an edge loop to represent the inner edge of the jawbone. Put this loop a fair distance in, approximately where you think the edge of the jawbone would be. When working on organic models, it can often help to think of the underlying muscle and bone structure. Let's start another loop just inside the one we made. This loop will help us describe how the cartilage at the bottom of the mouth and the throat connect to the jaw. Just like previously, switch the element type to faces and select the interior faces. Rotate the view to get a better working angle and pull them up to create an indentation. Rotate back, select vertex type and click in an empty space to clear the selection. Select the Polydraw tool and add another loop inside the one we just made. Switch the element type back to faces and select the interior faces. This time pull the selection down a bit. Now change the element type to vertices and pull each of the center vertices down to help shape the flesh sagging a bit in the middle and then transitioning into the throat. We can see that even though the changes were relatively simple, the visual change in the model is dramatic. Even so, the jaw is still a bit mechanical looking, so let's adjust the vertices individually and try and mess up the regularness some. Also, pulling down on the interior edge of the jaw to round it out should help a bit as well. With the jaw now looking a little less like RoboFish, let's wind up this section here, and in the next section we'll add the eye socket.